Well, good morning once again, kids, and welcome back to our story time. And today's story is called Best of All. I'm excited about this one. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I have. Higher on the right! Higher on the right! Demanded the mayor. There was no patience in his voice. Chip, the Wemmick, lifting the banner, stretched as high as he could and pounded in the nail into the pole. Better? He barely asked the question when his ladder began to sway, first to one side and then the next. Crash! Chip grabbed the nail he just hammered and held on. Perfect, declared the mayor. Just perfect. As Wemmix ran to the rescue of the dangling worker, the mayor's wife read aloud the words stretched over the banner. Wemmixville welcomes Miss Bess Stovall. Oh, she clapped her hands as she spoke. What a wonderful day. Whoever would have thought that such a famous person would visit our village? You know what they say, don't you? And everyone leaned forward. When it comes to Wemmix, she's the best of all. Punchinello and Lucia were near enough to overhear her words. Like the rest of the townspeople, they were wooden Wemmix made by Eli, the Wemmick maker. Unlike the rest of the village, they were puzzled. Tell me again, Punchinello asked the mayor's wife. Why is she so famous? Because everyone knows her. But why does everyone know her? Because she's famous. But why is she coming to Wemmixville? Punch asked. The mayor's wife rolled her eyes in disgust. Haven't you heard? She's here to choose members for the wonderful Wemmix Club. Punchinello nodded like he understood, but he really didn't. He looked at Lucia and she looked at him, and both shrugged their shoulders. He was just about to ask another question when the watch Wemmick on the top of the hill shouted, She's here! She's here! Doors flew open, stores emptied, villagers rushed from all directions to the end of Main Street. Fathers lifted children to their shoulders, and short Wemmicks elbowed their way to the front of the crowd. There was much shouting and pointing and tiptoe standing until a uniformed wooden soldier, looking very official and formal, appeared at the turn in the road. With a scroll in hand and bugle hanging from his neck, he marched over the Wemmick River Bridge and stopped in front of the crowd. Staring straight ahead at no one, he stood stiffly until all had hushed. Opening the scroll, he read in a loud voice, Cut from the grandest forest, cured from the strongest tree, full of sap, only the purest. She has the highest pedigree. So welcome ye Wemmicks to your village so small, the noblest grain from the finest lumber. She is Bess Stovall. With snappy movements, he tucked the scroll under his arm and pulled the bugle to his lips. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da! What the Wemmicks saw next caused a village-wide gasp. A squad of soldiers marched around the corner, shouldering a tall box with curtains. From behind him, Punchinello heard the crowd whisper, It's her! The box sat on two poles, and the poles rested on the shoulders of 4 soldiers. 2 guards walked in front, 2 walked in back. Boots on the wooden bridge made the only sound. Click, click, click. They kept in perfect step until one of the soldiers stumbled just slightly. The box leaned out over the water. The villagers gasped a second time. Let the box lean much farther, and the guest of honor would fall into the fast-flowing river. But the soldiers straightened themselves, crossed the bridge, and came to a stop in front of the mayor and his wife. They then lowered the box. The trumpet-toting, scroll-reading servant stepped forward and, after a long pause, pulled back the curtain. As Bess stepped out, the villagers stepped back. They'd never seen a wooden person quite like Miss Bess Stovall. Feathers flumed out of her hat. Earrings dangled to her shoulders. Both her lips and dress were bright red. Her shoes were tall, her nails were long, and most noticeably, a large golden letter, the letter M, hung from her neck. When she snapped her fingers, a sentry handed her a white cloth. With it, she carefully wiped the M and held it up like a mirror before her face. Seeing her reflection, she adjusted her hair and smiled. Bess Stovall was very pleased with herself. With eyes peering down her high nose, she held out her hand, allowing it to fall forward at the wrist. Ahem. The mayor's wife understood the gesture. She elbowed her husband. Kiss it. And he did. When he did, the visitor spoke. What good fortune is yours that I have come your way? She smirked, head back, hand still extended. The mayor's wife curtsied and motioned for the other Wemmicks to do the same. They did, even the men. Shall we get on with the greetings? Bess asked. Of course, answered the mayor. Everyone in line. One by one, the citizens of Wemmicksville passed before their guest. Yes, yes, she would reply to whatever was said to her. Welcome to our village. Yes, yes. We're glad you're here. Yes, yes. We are honored. Yes, yes. She was less concerned about what they said than what she saw. Occasionally, she would pause and stare deeply at a Wemmick. She examined the nose of the store owner and the ear of his son. She ran a gloved thumb across the hand of the house builder and took a long look at the forehead of the painter. No one knew what she was looking for, and no one asked. Although the wife of the mayor acted as if she knew, nodding with the famous guests when the famous guest nodded, and sighing when she sighed. The shortest and longest looks were given to Punchinello and Lucia. Upon seeing Punchinello, Bess suddenly stepped back before he could touch her hand. Lifting her nose and waving, she instructed, "Go on, go on." Stunned, Punch didn't move. He stood there, curious. "Move on," her servant repeated with a firm voice. So Punchinello did. Lucia started to follow him, not wanting the same treatment. Suddenly, the grand visitor stopped Lucia. My, Bess Stovall admitted. What have we here? Her eyes widened, and for the very first time since she began greeting Wemmicks, a smile softened her narrow face. Such fine grain and a nice shade. Are you maple? Lucia didn't understand. Excuse me? Are you made of maple? She had to think before answering. Yes. Which forest? Lucia paused and thought. It took some time to remember. The Majestic, she finally answered. Bess placed her hand over her mouth in surprise. Then you and I are of the same family tree. We are? Bess Stovall laughed. Of course. She then leaned forward and whispered, how nice to find someone of my roots. Stay around and we will talk. Lucia did. Between greetings, Bess Stovall would make remarks to Lucia beneath her breath, such as, ugh, what knotty timber, or such an inferior grove, or definitely from the wrong side of the mountain. Lucia understood none of the comments, but she didn't say so. After all the greetings, Bess signaled for Lucia to step near. Tomorrow we must chat. I have something for you, she said, fingering her M necklace. With that, she turned and left, escorted by the soldiers, followed by the mayor and his wife. Punchinello approached Lucia. Did I do something wrong? I don't know. Did you do something right? I don't know that either. Why is she kind to some Wemmicks and rude to others? I think it has something to do with your ancestry. My what? What forest you come from? Why does that matter? I don't know. They turned and left the village. Neither one spoke. They hadn't known they were different. And now that they did, they didn't know how to feel. I'll see you tomorrow, Punch finally said. Yeah, sure, Lucia replied, and neither one felt too happy. And next week, we will find out how this story ends. Best of all. Are you wondering why Lucia and Punch feel the way they feel? Well, we'll find out next week. And we'll find out what truly makes us special. We will see you next week. Have a great week. And remember that Pastor and Miss Barb are praying for you, and we miss you.